Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Film Hustlers.
Right, Robert, you got it right.
Film Hustlers.
Do the hustler.
Do we do the hustle when you're Hustlers?
That should be our new theme song. No?
You know what's weird? I miss saying "Let's get into it."
Do you?
Yeah, a little bit, because it was kind of fun to say "Let's get into it." Let's get into it. Let's get into it. It felt like we were going to get into something. Now we're just Film Hustlers, which makes me feel like
It's a cooler name, though.
it is a cooler name. It's going to make a better T-shirt. People
That's true.
seem to call us and talk to us about like the Hustler name being super cool, the logo's super cool. I get a lot of comments about it.
We should get some stickers. Old school.
And people have been digging the podcast. I don't know if it's because of the new name. You know, it's kind of like when you get a new haircut and people are looking at you.
I think we've just grown. Like, if I listen to the last episode versus, like, the beginning, we were kind of all over the place. You know what I mean? Well, not all over the place. We had a point every podcast. Like, you know, we would sum it at the end, but we talked over each other. We broke balls, which is fun, but it was more, I feel like this is more, there's more of a flow. We're in a rhythm.
We're very focused. And by the way, if you're tuning in for the first time, we're the Film Hustlers. We are filmmakers, in addition to many other things. Actually, really content producers.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Because I know Dave, you create a bunch of different types of content. I mean, I'm only a film producer, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's all we do. Like, we're involved in all kinds of different things.
I mean, you're a producer, but you dabble in some writing. You dabble in a lot of music because you have a music background.
You produce this podcast.
I produce this,
produce
well,
this
we produce this podcast here. You know, we got a mic, we got like a mixer, and you know, anyone could record. Like I'll tell you, like if you're a producer or writer or anything like that, you want someone to listen to your script or your pitch. I had a guy that would not read my one-page pitch. He wouldn't read my one-page pitch.
Sounds familiar, Davey Dave.
So what did I do? I really, really believed that he needed to hear this one-page script. So I read it into my phone, into voice notes, and I sent it to him. I said, just
Listen.
push play in your car on your way to work in the morning. And he did. And he was like, dude, that was really cool. I didn't sell it, but but you know, sometimes you have to do different things to sell your product and to get people to listen or to read your script. I don't know why people don't read scripts. They just don't. I have a tough time opening. When I get to it, if I actually sit down and open your script and start to read it, I actually read it.
Yeah.
But to get to it for some reason is like, I don't know. It's complicated.
It's daunting and like kind of cringy.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
oh shit, like a script. Oh, okay.
unless it grabs you right away.
right.
But also too, like Robert's brought up in one of the episodes, it's hard to read people's scripts that you know their voice because you hear their voice, right? So Robert's one where he gave me my shit because he knows my voice, Davey Dave. That's what's fucked
So
up.
what I was getting-
So now I send shit like Julio Iglesias III.
Yeah.
So
check out this one this guy wrote.
So what I was getting at before is that if you're listening to the show, we are the Film Hustlers, and we make movies and content and create content. And this season, we are focusing our energies on doing our own films so that you guys listening can see how we do it, how we develop the idea, how we
Collaborating.
collaborate. I tell my kids all the time, I go, movie making is about collaborating.
That's it.
It's about ideas and people throwing out ideas. It's not about you controlling everything and it's got to be your way. It's literally a collaboration. Sometimes good ideas happen. Sometimes bad ideas happen. Sometimes a bad idea turns into a good idea. I realized that a lot of the films I loved as a kid were horrible scripts. Like really bad scripts, like not great scripts. Like I still watch them today and I'm like, God, this is so bad, but I love it. You know, like there was a movie, Cutting Edge, starring D.B. Sweeney and Moira Kelly.
Is that the ice skating one?
Yeah. They made a couple sequels, but
Yeah.
but the first one was directed by Starsky from Starsky and Hutch. I forgot his name, Paul Michael Glazier. And anyway, the film is not super well written. I mean, someone's going to totally disagree with me and say that it was well written, but it's not. But it doesn't matter. The film is extremely entertaining, and you want them to get together, and it's just a really, really fun movie that actually has a really bad script.
Because isn't that at the end of the day, it's about entertaining, right? That's what it really comes down to.
It's about your audience buying what you're selling.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You're right. It's about the execution and about like are you capturing people's imagination with what you're producing or what you've written or whatever. But I think the answer is you got to continue to create so that people can continue to see what you're doing. I think about it all the time, no matter what project I'm working on. I think, am I doing something that's going to be interesting? Like, for instance, we just did Stepping Into the Holiday.
Yeah.
It comes out the weekend after Thanksgiving. It's a beautiful little film. I don't know until an audience sees it whether or not it's great. Like, is Mario excellent in it? Yes. Is Jana great in it? Yes. Are all the characters in it funny? Yes.
The ventriloquist.
The ventriloquist is okay.
You could have maybe recast, but that's okay.
Esterman got a lot of the fools in it, but you're not going to know.
Foos, not fool.
Foos. You're not going to know if it's really, really great until like the review comes out and people like how many people watched it, and you get actual numbers, right? Yeah. Did people tell other people to check it out? But the idea is to continue to do work. So let's get into it.
There we go.
Let's get into it on what we're developing Film Hustler wise. Now, the name of our short currently is what?
Dying to Know. But it sounds like an episode on CSI.
Yes. No, Dying to Know sounds like a comedy.
Or like a soap opera.
Yeah, like a soap opera.
Damn. All right. Let's just say that we'll hold it for now. But
I am a big fan of Tuddy's idea, which is powerful. And we developed the first third of it, which, should we read it? I don't know that I'll do it justice.
Let it go, Roberts. Let's hear it.
Okay. So you cut to an interior of a hospice day, close up on Mendoza, an impeccably well-dressed man in a black suit and tie. Mendoza is in his mid-50s. His eyes are focused and concerned as he looks down on the bed. The shrieking sound of a heart monitor flatlining fills the room. Mendoza's eyes say it all. No reaction. We pull back to reveal an old man laying lifeless in a bed. His eyes wide, his mouth slightly open. He's gone. Mendoza moves toward the old man, gently closing his eyes, followed by a soft kiss on his forehead. Mendoza then kneels down next to the bed and begins praying, a rosary clutched tightly in his hands.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
Now we're at Mark's house. It's an exterior, front porch, beautiful house, upper middle class neighborhood. Mendoza stands waiting at the door. Mark, in his 60s, opens the door. An instant oh shit look comes across his face. The two lock eyes. A moment passes.
Come in.
Mendoza walks in as Mark closes the door behind him. Mendoza opens and closes the door 3 times methodically, then looks around and spots a family photo hanging on the wall.
Look, mister.
Anyone home?
No, just me.
Mendoza takes a few steps down the hall, making sure they're alone, while keeping the gun pointed in Mark's direction. Mendoza returns to Mark and pulls out a large zip tie from his coat pocket.
Give me your hands.
Mark puts his hands in front of him. Beads of sweat begin to roll down his face.
My family.
The two share in a moment. Mendoza nods, then escorts Mark down the hall. Mark stops, followed by Mendoza.
Wait, can we talk?
Mark is at a loss for words. His mouth is dry. He looks like he may pass out.
It'll be quick.
Mendoza gets behind Mark and leads him down the hallway. Mark once again stops in his tracks.
I have an idea. Please.
Dining room. Close-up of Mark as he writes a note on the back of a piece of mail while his hands are zip-tied in front of him. His emotions get the best of him while Mendoza watches on from a few feet away. Mark finishes his note and looks at Mendoza.
Thank you.
Mendoza nods once again, acknowledging him. Mark's lifeless legs dangle as he hangs by his neck from a second-story banister. We only see his legs. Mendoza studies Mark, then rises and heads over to him. Kitchen. Mendoza aggressively scrubs his hands with soap and water. Mendoza finishes washing and pulls a handkerchief from his coat pocket and dries his hands. He then pulls a bottle of hand sanitizer and douses his hands. Interior living room. Mendoza studies Mark. He takes a rosary from around his neck and gets down on his knees. He clutches the rosary in his hand and prays below Mark's lifeless body. Fade out. All right, cool. Personally, I think it's going to make a great opening to our movie.
I mean, a few words, but you can tell what's going on, especially with, the actors that you're going to get. They're probably going to portray it with eye movements and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool.
I like Mendoza.
Yeah.
He's cool.
I mean, we like him. We feel for him in the beginning, right? Because we open on his eyes, and he's going through all these emotions, and we kind of don't know what's happening until, well, we could hear the flat line. So if you're paying attention, you'll get it, and then we see his dad. So you feel for him. Obviously, he just lost somebody dear to him. And so when he gets to this guy's house, we don't know who he is, right? We just we're invested in Mendoza already. Right. And so, and then you see this guy, Mark, and he seems like a good family guy. His house is nice. He seems like a normal dude, and that collision. But I do think it's great that we do the closing door 3 times, because it just shows a different side of him. Because you're like, oh, okay, like we're feeling for this guy. We like him. He just lost somebody close to him. But why is he doing this? And what's going on?
I like that. I like that Mendoza prays. I like the door. I like that he sanitizes himself after.
And notice he doesn't use the dish towel that's there. He uses his own towel.
Yeah, I like that too. So so real quick, the question is: does Mendoza know that no one's home? Does he really have to ask?
He knows.
He knows, so he doesn't have to ask.
Yeah.
Can we get rid of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, can we back up one time? Maybe you can bridge the fastidiousness of his bringing his own towel from the house into the hospital. You know what I mean? And like using the same kind of like putting in the same pocket.
See it twice.
Using the same rosary, putting it away in the same place. Something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's gotten a little, like what you
little
put
bag.
your teeth in.
Yeah.
Like the Invisalign case. Maybe he's got a little rosary.
So, something. He tucks it away in his. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, sometimes they come in like I have one, and it comes in like a little cloth bag with like a little button.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
And he keeps it in his pocket. He takes it out, opens it.
Maybe it's in that little towel he has. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
In the context of our movie, do we need this much information from this death, or are we just trying to establish Mendoza's, first of all, superiority as a killer?
Yeah.
And his
vulnerabilities, because I think what we're doing is setting up his death in reality. Because when Mendoza gets killed by the boss at the end, he's vulnerable.
I'm wondering if the conversation is more truncated on Mark's side, Like, in other words, he's very clear. He's very clear what he wants here. He doesn't want his family.
Yeah.
He's willing to die. Obviously, something went severely wrong for this dude. It's too clear what he's saying. So it would be if he said, my family. Mm-hmm. Maybe we don't change this dialogue currently, but maybe you do it with less dialogue when you do it. Like maybe collaborate with the actors and be like, instead of it ends with me, right, my family, he just says my family. And Mendoza, can not say anything. I don't know. What would you say if they came after you? You probably screwed somebody for money. Something went severely wrong with something you were supposed to do. Now you're going to die, and it's over. You don't want your family implicated. The hitman can't.
I think that Mark, like you said, he knows his destiny.
Would Mendoza be like?
Well, Mark's meaning he doesn't want his family hurt. He wants it to end with him. He doesn't. If you're going to die, and you know you're going to die, you don't want people coming after your family. You want them to live.
You can't control it with Mendoza, though.
You can't, but he's the only one there. Who, Mark ain't going to jump. Hold on, let me call whoever.
Is it a nervous? Let's
it's almost a nervous.
Let's go nervous. It's a nervous conversation he's having, but Mendoza's going like, just breathe. Breathe.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's not going to. What I'm saying is that they're not a tit for tat conversation. It's not like Mark is saying something and Mendoza's taking it into account what he's saying. What I'm saying is that this conversation should go down. That Mark is having this conversation, whatever it is, but Mendoza's not paying attention.
But I think Mendoza would be paying attention after just losing his dad.
Relax. Breathe. No, because but then you make him a very sympathetic character the whole time, and I don't think he is. I think he's a killer, and I don't
make him more vicious.
And I don't even know that he. I mean, I don't know. Does he really like? Do we really want to know that he hurts for his dad? Do we really want to know that about our killer? Like the minute we see him, I think we should be guessing at what he felt about it, because then when he meets up with. Almost, I'm calling him almost, but when he meets up with
the boss,
with his Mark, which is it ends up being his boss. I think that's interesting because then you don't know, but it comes out there maybe how he felt about his dad.
I mean, what we could do is we could
Just
leave
a thought.
We could leave the thought because we want to sympathize for him, right? When you see him, you want to like this character. I mean, he's the main guy pretty much, right? I think then maybe he could be a little more ruthless with Mark. You know what I mean? I think he lets him hang himself. He could be a little more cold, and then so we're like, oh shit, this guy's, we feel for him, but now we see who he is. He's a bad dude.
It could be a really cool scene, like really, honestly, it could be a great moment. I mean, it's an actor thing. It's an actor-director thing, really.
Yeah.
It can't be on the page, but the truth is like the idea that Mendoza is letting this guy die in a way that won't tip off his family that he was murdered by a hitman is kind of cool. Like the idea that he's killing himself like Robin Williams killed himself.
Yeah.
I mean, really, right?
Yeah.
Is what we're talking about. So there's already like a great like subtext to Mendoza and his ability to like let this guy die in a way. First of all, it doesn't implicate him, so it's perfect. But at the same time, it's not a ruthless killing by him. He lets this guy die how he wants to die, and it's kind of a beautiful moment in a way.
Yeah.
Right? Because Mendoza's got to watch him die because that's the job.
You know what I just realized? Mendoza needs to cut the zip ties off his hands after he's dead.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because then he's not implemented, and he takes the zip ties, and maybe that's when he touches the pant leg. When he's cutting the zip ties. Yeah. Because you can't.
I don't think Mendoza should call him Mark either. It's too personal. No name. I don't think we should know how he feels about his dad dying. I think that there's conflict for him inside, like a lot of us. I think a lot of us have issues with parents sometimes, and especially if he's a killer, probably they're estranged, and this is the first time he's seen him in many, many years. That's the subtext here. So, whatever Emilio decides to do with his face in that, it should be whatever it is. Whether or not
the other person and director would have to feed off of whatever he's giving.
Yeah. So I think I think maybe your writing should lean a little bit towards more ambiguous sort of reaction to that, and then I think let's look at Mark a little bit more carefully in terms of his interest in communicating with Mendoza and Mendoza's methodical, way of dealing with the murder. Maybe he's never let someone kill themselves before. That's possible, right? So the subtext would be that this is new to him too, which is why.
How about this? Of course he's going to be cold, and then the only sympathetic thing could be like, I'm going to do you a favor. He can actually say, you know what, I'm going to do you a favor. And then then you don't have to mention anything else you don't have to really show sympathy any other way, just in one sentence. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it could be done in a lot of different ways. I think he could look at the picture of him and his family. He could look, he could look at him. He could think about it. He could be like,
I'm going to do you a favor. Turn around.
Yeah. Or even just turn around. Yeah. I have an idea. Right. It's good. It's a great scene, actually.
Yeah.
It's a great actor scene. I know Emilio will kill it. His counterpart's going to have to be like, whew. I bet he has somebody he wants to work with. All right, cool.
You know who would be good at that? Maurice Comte.
Yeah, you know what? He would be. You think he'd do it? All right, before we get into what's going to happen next, and we'll have a little conversation about it, but I think it was important to sort of talk about and develop these 3-4 pages really tightly, and I think you've got a lot to think about. Make the adjustment. I don't think we're going to talk about it on the next show. I think the next show maybe you write the middle and end, and then we can talk about it then, and we can post maybe if someone's really interested in seeing like how the script looks or whatever, maybe we can post it somewhere.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Post it on the story or something.
Yeah. Okay, cool. But let's talk about, I was thinking about Extreme Music the other day.
Because this is going to have some good music.
This is going to be like score level, like amazing stuff. And Rich Alarcon's going to edit it. But it is amazing that you could pick a song and that song is 2 minutes long. And, sometimes you don't need it, so they always give you a 30-seconder. And then if you want vocals on it, because it's going to be a scene, then you can pick the vocal track. And if you don't want vocals, you can pick the non-vocal track of the same song, 30 seconds or 1 or 2 minutes. And then if you need an ending, a transition out of your scene, they give you a little stinger. Not always, but if you look in certain albums and stuff, they'll give you a stinger too that helps you transition out of the song.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And also,
it's really cool, actually.
Yeah, and there's other pieces too. Like for instance, I was picking a song for Steppen. I needed the song to have less instruments,
Yeah.
And because there was like way too much going on, and I just needed to sit underneath dialogue, conversation. So I started to notice that on certain albums, not only do they have the vocal, the non-vocal, the 2 minute, the 30-second, the stinger, but they also have ambient version.
Yeah.
They have like a low impact version. They have like a quiet version. So all of these different versions of the very same song were there, and I was able to pick the ambient version, and it was very low and like less instrument. And in some cases you can...
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can go into their thing and you can remove the guitar, remove the drums, or only go percussion if you wanted to really drive. Yeah. So I've been working with extreme music. I know you guys have for years. And I'm always surprised at the level of maneuverability that their music has. You know? And their composers have to do it. As you're writing this music, they have to think, oh, these guys are going to need a stinger. Their scenes aren't going to be exactly 2 minutes long, so let me give them a 30-seconder. And a lot of times I'll take the 2 minute and I'll edit it myself to fit the scene.
Yeah, and Rich is a badass editor. He's musically inclined. He does video. That's where he made his bones in music videos. He did.
Oh, is that where it was?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's what he's. Yeah.
Dude, he's been nominated for Music Video of the Year awards.
Yeah. No, he's badass. He knows his way around music really, really well. In fact, like, Made in Mexico was a different movie until he came on board. You know what I mean?
And music, and you're right. Like if you're out there and you're working with a music video editor on any project you're working on, you give them extreme music and you give him your login.
That's it.
And go crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna be seeing Russ on Friday, and we're gonna have him on the show next week. So we'll be talking a lot more about what's up with extrememusic.com. So check them out.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it about the end of this. But it's funny. It's funny how much you can talk about 3 or 4 pages of dialogue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about, like, this isn't a script. This isn't like a 90-page script. We're talking about this in depth, 3 pages.
Yeah.
And there's not even that much dialogue, right? But I think if you're working on your script at home, I think you have to figure out what the intention of what you're trying to do is in your characters, and figure out what they're supposed to be saying and how they're feeling. And there's no way for us to know how someone who's going to die feels, but you can certainly figure out through the characters and what we're telling you about them, how they would potentially react.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's great too, because you really, every scene, like in Godfather, like the making of it, what was it called? The Offer, when those two guys, they went through every scene with a fine-tooth comb. And that's what you got to do, You got to make sure you're not just wasting scenes, because it doesn't. So it's good as a writer to go through each and every scene and really make sure you know what's happening in that scene, why it's happening, what those characters, their intentions are, where they came from, what just happened to them, what they want. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't just breeze through a bunch of scenes, because then you got, it's crap. So it's good to really go through. And like you said, 3 pages, it's really 3 pages. It's not really, because 4 is like the top.
You're right. I was just looking at it. It's 3.
Yeah, but there's a lot going on in just those 3 pages. Minimal talking, but a lot of emotion.
Yeah, you're talking about 3 minutes in there. But just to recap, I think your opening scene is solid. I think we need to be left with the idea it's going to be clear that it's his dad. Right. And it's going to be clear that he's ambiguous about how he feels about it. It might just be like, you have to go see your dad when he dies. That could be what it is.
Well, I want to shoot it both ways. I want to give him the option to play it either angry, sad, doesn't care. You know what I mean? I think I want to leave it up to. I want to see what they do with this.
How would Clint Eastwood play it?
He would say you got one take. That's whatever you do on this.
That's your opening, and then as we move through Mendoza's life, his next visit is to his mark, someone he has to kill, and he's not going to be emotional about it.
No.
The mark's going to be emotional about it, but he's not. He's going to methodically go through it. We're going to learn a little bit more about him. There's not going to be any feelings that Mendoza's having. He's just going to maybe change a little something about how he deals with this guy.
He's going to be a lot more clever. You're going to see the cunningness of him. You're going to see why he's got to get inside this. He's got to have this guy trust him.
Yeah.
He's got to he's a con. He's got to
Now, the most important thing about that scene, well, the first scene and this scene, is that it's setting up what? What is it setting up? It's
setting up a murder, and you don't know whose murder.
Right. So you have to know enough about Mendoza to know that when he knocks on the door of the next person, the hair on your neck's got to stand up about it. So these scenes are going to set up his, the Bjorn Borg McEnroe match that he's going to have with whoever plays his final mark, and that's going to end up switching. But we have to know Mendoza's smart. We have to know he's got this issue. We have to know that he's good at what he does, and we have to know that he has no emotion about it. I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So then you'll use this to sort of inform your rewrite on this?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
I'll use it.
I hope we're not boring people with this development talk, but I think it's important to sort of see how you could discuss this amongst three guys that are creative and how it could go, right? How it could go rather than not, and just have it happen, right? This is how it happens. This is how you go through it. And then, maybe we'll read it again next time and see how it changed or see how it adjusted and see if it got any better.
Yeah, but it's important to do this too. If you're a writer out there or you're a producer or an actor or anything in this business, to sit down and go through whatever you're working on. Yeah. Because even you just reading out the direction and for me, because I wrote it, I was like, oh, that's clunky. Oh, I could have chopped those 3 sentences down to one sentence, and I didn't. And then when Dave and I were going back and forth, there's things in between there that I don't need there.
Yeah, and it feels weird to read it as some things don't feel right when you're acting either, the first time.
Yeah. But it is good. But on a separate note,
you know what? I realized I'm a really good actor.
You are.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. On a separate note, I'm sitting next to, we're sitting next to right here? Craft service guy.
What do you mean?
On the new series.
No, I wasn't the craft service.
Oh, you
guy.
weren't crafty?
No, it was second AD.
You were second AD?
On what?
Oh,
I got bumped up.
Oh, and I was the producer.
Yeah,
on the show you guys worked on?
Yeah, Suspect the series, the pilot.
The series.
Yeah, so it was really cool.
Hey, can we have him on? You think he'd come on?
Yeah, Manny would come on.
Let's get him on. That'd be fun.
Yeah. He'd love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to Film Hustlers. I think we had a good session here. Hope you guys are inspired by it. And, we're going to get to this movie a lot faster than I thought.
No, I know.
I bet you we make this before the end of the year.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to end up doing that, this rewrite probably tonight, and then I'll start tomorrow.
All right, cool. And we'll catch you guys next week on Film Hustlers.
We need some shirts.
Oh, let's look at the...